Write this down. True leadership is measured by the diminishing dependency of your followers. If they still need you, you didn't lead them. That's not an insult, that's a metric. Leadership is not proven by applause, followers, or how many messages you answer at midnight. Leadership is proven when the people you trained can function, decide, and win without your constant presence. I'm coming after something tonight. Many leaders secretly enjoy being needed. It strokes the ego. It makes you feel important. You like the calls that say we can't do it without you. You like to be indispensable because indispensable sounds like irreplaceable, and irreplaceable sounds like security. Write this down. Needing you is not proof of your greatness. It is evidence of their immaturity and your failure to reproduce. If your organization collapses when you travel, you are not leading, you are babysitting. Say it with me. I am not called to be needed. I am called to reproduce. Again, louder. I am not called to be needed. I am called to reproduce. One more time so your subconscious can hear it. I am not called to be needed. I am called to reproduce. Your assignment is not to create dependency. It is to create dominion in others. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And the people entrusted to you are not your fans. They are your future. This is leadership school, not entertainment. Write it down. We are in training. Bring your mind, bring your notes, bring your resistance to be crucified. Because whatever you tolerate, you will never change. If you tolerate being the hero who solves everything, you will never build anyone who can solve anything. If you tolerate your team's addiction to your permission, you will never cultivate their judgment. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Let me press the stakes beyond your department and your business. If you refuse to mentor, your success dies with you. And when your success dies with you, your children and their children pay a bill you created. A generation that was designed to surpass you will spend its years starting over because you refuse to reproduce. Write this down. When you hoard leadership, you inherit irrelevance. Legacy is not what you leave for people, it's what you leave in people. If there is nothing in them that can stand without you, your legacy is a statue with no breath. So here is our standard. From this moment, we will measure leadership by transfer, not attention. By outcomes without you, not busyness around you. By judgment you have formed in others, not decisions you monopolize. This is the metric, diminishing dependency. If they grow independent, you succeeded. If they cling to you, you settle for applause. Say it again. I am not called to be needed. I am called to reproduce. Now write this last line down and box it. My leadership is authentic only when my absence does not create a crisis. That is where we are going. Not inspiration, transformation, not crowd successes, not fans, leaders. Let's begin. Let's go to the heart. Write this down. Mentoring is rare, not because you lack time, but because you lack security. It's not a calendar problem, it's a belief problem. You tell me you're busy. You tell me excellence matters. You tell me it's fast if I do it myself. No. The truth buried under those polished sentences is this. You are afraid to be replaced. Say it with me. I've been hiding my fear under wisdom words. Let me name the fear so it loses its power. If I teach you, you might not need me. If you don't need me, who am I? That's the voice that whispers when you're about to share your process, your contacts, your judgment. That voice is not the voice of leadership. It's the voice of survival. Write this down. Leaders who protect positions can't fulfill assignments. Assignments demand distribution. Positions demand possession. This is why some of you love the bottleneck. It keeps you central. It validates your title. It feeds your ego, but it starves your future. Title-based leadership clings to control. Purpose-based leadership releases capacity. Which are you? If your identity is anchored to a chair, you must chain people to that chair to feel important. If your identity is anchored to purpose, you can give away the chair and still be seated in significance. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. A position can be taken. An assignment cannot be stolen. Write this down and circle it. Insecurity is leadership suicide disguised as protection. You think you're shielding yourself from irrelevance. You are actually signing the death certificate of your legacy. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. If you tolerate insecurity, you stay small. If you tolerate dependency, you keep your people small. Leadership is born when toleration ends. End your toleration of fear. End your romance with indispensability. Who are you if they stop calling you for permission? You are still the source of vision, the architect of culture, the steward of values. Mentoring does not erase you, it multiplies you. Say this with me. My position is temporary. My assignment is eternal. Again, my value is in my work, not in my control. Some of you don't mentor because you confuse authority with identity. Authority is a tool. Identity is a truth. Authority is given by people. Identity is given by God. If people gave it, people can take it. If God gave it, no successor can shrink it. So stop policing doors and start opening them. Stop guarding your methods and start transferring your mindset. The one you train does not diminish you. They document that you were here. That is the end of fear and the beginning of leadership. Write this down. Design determines function. Function decides standards. Standards expose failure. If you don't know the design, you will misuse the power. So let's go to the manufacturer's manual. Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Read that slowly. It does not say let him have dominion. It says let them, plural. Distribution built into the sentence. The Creator never gave dominion to a person. He assigned dominion to a species. That means leadership was never intended to be monopolized. It was designed to be multiplied. Write this down. Dominion is not domination. The Hebrew word rad, to rule, to manage, to govern, speaks of responsible stewardship over a domain, not control over people. Notice the text. Fish, birds, cattle, earth, creeping things, not other humans. So when you use position to control people, you are violating design. Dominion is stewardship that empowers creation to flourish under your influence. It's the difference between crushing and cultivating. Domination hoards, dominion distributes. You are not an accident. You are an assignment, and your assignment is encoded with reproduction. Be fruitful and multiply is not a baby verse. It is a leadership verse. Fruit is evidence of seed, reproduce. Multiplication is the transfer of capacity. Write this down. If your leadership does not reproduce leaders, it is barren. The first command after identity was not perform, it was produce. Performance without reproduction is a glittering failure. Let me press this to your motive. God is the first and final model of leadership. What does he do? He shares power. He delegates authority to sun and moon to govern day and night. He assigns seasons to rule the year. He puts seed in fruit so the tree doesn't have to ask heaven every season for a new beginning. God leads by embedding capacity that outlives the initial act. Insecure leaders try to centralize everything to themselves. The Creator decentralizes so life can continue when he rests. Write that down. God trusts his design enough to step back. That's why he could rest the seventh day. Systems were in place. So here is the confrontation. When you refuse to mentor, you are arguing with Genesis. You are converting let them into let me. You have exchanged assignment for possession. Dominion was given for distribution, not celebrity. Dominion is capacity released through others. So creation doesn't wait on your mood to advance. Mentorship then is not optional. It is obedience to design. It is how dominion travels from one mind to many, from one generation to the next. Say it with me. I was designed to lead and to produce leaders. Again, louder. I was designed to lead and to produce leaders. One more time until your subconscious records it. I was designed to lead and to produce leaders. This is your identity. This is your assignment. Stop performing for attention and start reproducing for dominion. Write this down. Big followings often produce small successions. Crowds make you famous. Disciples make you future. Crowds applaud gifts. Only mentored disciples carry vision into the next generation. That's the truth you've been afraid to touch. You love the noise, you love the lights, you love the line around the building. But noise is not inheritance. Lines don't lead. Write it down again. If your ministry, your company, your movement is built on crowds, you are building a moment. If it's built on disciples, you are building a movement. Look at the pattern of the master. He fed the multitude, yes. He served the crowd, yes. But he did not trust the crowd with the mission. He turned to the 70 and gave them assignments. He invested in the 12 with access. He kept 3 in his inner circle for weight, movement, not moment. After he gave bread, he gave cost, and the crowd evaporated. John says many walked away. Why? Transactional followership cannot survive transformational pricing. Write this down. If they came for benefits, they will leave when belief is required. Jesus asked the 12, will you also go? That's mentoring, pressing motive until only conviction remains. Mentorship is not a speech, it is association. Mark records that he appointed them that they might be with him and that he might send them with him access and proximity. Send them responsibility and exposure. He let them distribute the bread so their hands learned what their minds would one day teach. He sent them 2 by 2 so their judgment would grow in the field, not just in the classroom. He allowed them to fail with the demon-possessed boy and then reviewed their thinking. That is transfer, not slogans, standards, not task thinking. Say it with me. Association creates absorption. Write this down. When a crowd is your target, dependence becomes your product. You have to keep entertaining to keep them returning. If you bait them with bread, you must sustain them with bread. But when you build disciples, development becomes your product. They stop consuming and start constructing. They don't need your stage to be effective. They carry your standards into places you will never go. Let me give you a picture. Fireworks draw crowds. Engines move vehicles. Fireworks are loud, bright, and over in minutes. Engines are quiet, consistent, and take you to destiny. Charisma is fireworks. Mentorship is an engine. When development is real, leadership stops being a personality and becomes a system. Who is the leader? No one and everyone. When development is real, every part leads in its function. A $4 wire can stop a $90,000 car. That's why you train every wire, not just polish the hood. Stop counting heads in your auditorium and start counting handoffs in your pipeline. Stop measuring applause and start measuring absence, what runs when you are not there. Say it with me. I build movements, not moments. Again, I choose disciples over crowds. One more time. I train for succession, not attention. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And your assignment is not to collect admirers. It is to reproduce leaders who can carry vision when the lights are off and the crowd is gone. Open the hood with me. Look at the engine. Who's the leader? Is it the battery with all the voltage, the crankshaft with all the torque, the $4 terminal wire nobody notices? Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Every part leads in its function. Remove that little wire and the $90,000 machine becomes a $90,000 statue. Write this down. Importance is contextual. Leadership is functional. You don't need a title if your function is critical. A $4 roll can shut the whole thing down. Now apply that to your organization. If everything must run through you, you didn't build a system, you built a shrine. You are not a leader, you are bottleneck with a business card. Write this down. Control feels like competence until the traffic backs up. Then your excellence is exposed as ego. Leaders don't sit in the middle. They design the middle. They architect flow. They train function. They assign dominion to domains. Here's the lie many of you baptized. I'm the visionary. They're just helpers. No. Helpers are leaders in delegated domains. Stop calling your head of operations a helper. Call them what they are, a governor over a territory. Vision defines destination. Function builds transportation. The vision in your head is a map. The functions in their hands are engines. If you keep the map but never build the engines, we admire your speeches and bury your movement. Write this down. Mentorship is system design. Mentorship does not merely show someone what you do. It installs standards so they can do it when you're not there. It clarifies decision rights. It defines success metrics. It rehearses judgment. It replaces ask me with apply the principle. That turns your organization from a personality-driven machine into a function-led system. In a personality machine, your mood is maintenance. In a function system, principles are maintenance. Systems don't wake up tired, people do. Let me press this further. If your signature is on every decision, your insecurity is on every outcome. You can't scale suspicion. You can only scale trust wrapped in training. Say it with me. Trust is a product of transfer. Again, trust is a product of transfer. When you transfer values, thinking, and clear authority, you stop supervising and start overseeing. Oversight is vision from altitude. Supervision is hand-holding at ground level. One is leadership, the other is babysitting. Write this down. If your absence creates chaos, you weren't leading, you were holding. Holding what? Holding people hostage to your presence, holding your future hostage to your fear, holding the organization hostage to your schedule. Release it. Build roles that can win without you in the room. Put the right parts in the right places with the right tolerances and the right lubrication standards, rhythms, reviews, and rewards. Then you can turn the key, step back, and watch the system hum. Say it with me. Everyone leads in their function. One more time. Everyone leads in their function. That is how vision moves from poster to pavement, from idea to impact, when function is trained, trusted, and released. Write this down. Delegation is not mentorship. Delegation gives an assignment. Mentorship gives a mindset. Delegation transfers tasks. Mentorship transfers templates of thought. Delegation says, do this. Mentorship says, here is how to decide what to do when I am not there. If all you pass on is a checklist, you trained a technician. If you pass on a philosophy, you are raising a leader. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Write this down. The heart in Scripture is not your emotions. It's your subconscious, your internal operating system. It's the BIOS of your life, the firmware that boots every decision before your mouth speaks. Mentorship is not copying files onto a desk. It is rewriting firmware. That is why you can give someone your notes and they still fail in your absence. Notes inform the mind. Mentorship reforms the heart. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Skills can be taught in a seminar. Judgment is cultivated by proximity and process. You can train someone to run a report in an hour. It takes seasons to train them to read what the report is not saying. Write this down. Training answers how. Mentorship reveals why, when, and whether. Training equips hands. Mentorship calibrates eyes. Training improves speed. Mentorship improves selection. Fast is useless if you are running in the wrong direction. Here is where many leaders sabotage their future and call it excellence. You answer every question. You approve every decision. You touch every document. You baptize it as quality control, but it's actually control of quality people. You are producing clones of dependency echoes that cannot think beyond your last instruction. When you are the answer, you guarantee their ignorance. Say it with me. I will not be the answer. I will teach you how to think. Again, I will not be the answer. I will teach you how to think. One more time until your heart records it. I will not be the answer. I will teach you how to think. How do you do that? Shift from telling to testing. Replace, here's what to do with. Which principle governs this? What options did you see? What are the consequences 2 moves from now? Which value takes priority here? Write this down. Mentorship is guided thinking under pressure. You let them carry weight while you coach their judgment before, during, and after the decision. You don't rescue at the first wobble. You review after the landing. That is how discernment is born. Think thermostat, not thermometer. Thermometers report conditions. Thermostats regulate conditions. When you mentor, you install thermostats values that hold temperature under changing climates. Then when the heat rises, they don't text you. Their internal setting activates. They don't ask, what do I do? They declare, based on our values, this is what must be done. Write this down. Mentorship is the transfer of belief systems and judgment, the internal compass that produces independent leaders. When you give them your why, your weight, and your way of weighing, you don't lose control. You gain continuity. And when your thinking lives in them, your absence ceases to be a crisis and becomes a proving ground for the future you were assigned to build. Now let's confront the masks. Write this down. Most anti-mentoring logic is insecurity wearing the costume of wisdom. It sounds intelligent. It sounds responsible. It is fear with a tie on. So we rip off the tie. Excuse number one, I don't have time. Translation, mentoring isn't your priority. Time is not found. It is allocated to what you value. Write this down. What you refuse to reproduce, you must personally maintain forever. If you won't install capacity in others today, you will be a prisoner of your calendar tomorrow. Mentoring is the only activity that multiplies time. Every hour you spend mentoring returns to you as 10 hours you no longer have to babysit. Say it with me. I don't save time. I multiply it through people. Excuse number two, they're not ready. That is perfectionism baptized as prudence. Readiness is not discovered in a waiting room. It is forged in responsibility. The master sent the 70 before they were perfect and reviewed them when they returned. Eagles don't wait for eaglets to fly flawlessly. They nudge them out and then swoop if necessary. Write this down. Responsibility creates readiness. Exposure grows judgment. If you overprotect, you underprepare. Say it again. I will not keep them safe from the very weight that makes them strong. Excuse number three, they might leave. Hear the fear. People are not your property. If they cannot leave, they are not developed. They are detained. And if they do leave and lead, you proved your leadership. Their success elsewhere is a citation on your legacy. Write this down. Open hands attract. Closed fists lose blood. Train with an open hand. If your culture is healthy, many will stay by conviction, not by captivity. Say it with me. I release leaders. I don't retain hostages. Excuse number four. No one mentored me. That is a curse trying to reproduce itself. Break it. You are not an accident. You are on assignment. Be the first fruit of a new lineage. Use your pain as a syllabus, not a shield. Write this down. Don't make the next generation pay tuition you already paid. Build a bridge where you had to swim. Say it. It stops with me and it starts with me. Excuse number five. They'll do it wrong. Of course they will first. Errors are tuition, not treason. Excellence is not perfection. It is alignment with standards under review. You fix incompetence with coaching, not control. Think engine. If the $4 wire misfires, you don't park the car forever and grab the steering wheel tighter. You adjust, you tune, you teach. Write this down. Toleration of incompetence is not solved by takeover. It is solved by training, feedback, and consequences. Excuse number six. I must protect the brand. A brand without succession is a museum, not a movement. Your logo behind glass, your stories on plaques, tours at 2 p.m. Guardrails protect brands. Gatekeepers suffocate them. The brand is your values performed at scale, not your personality repeated on stage. If the brand needs your face to function, you built an idol, not a system. Say it with me. I protect the brand by producing brand bearers. This is the verdict. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. End your romance with indispensability. Replace excuses with a pipeline. Replace fear with transfer. Write this down. A leader who refuses to mentor is building a monument, not a legacy. Write this down. When a leader refuses to mentor, the next generation inherits confusion instead of clarity. They receive activity without philosophy, tasks without templates, rituals without reasons. Scripture says there arose a generation that did not know. How does that happen? Absence of transfer, silence of fathers and mothers. The tragedy is not that your gift was small. The tragedy is that your gift was selfish. A gift that cannot be transferred becomes a performance, not a service. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And your assignment includes reproduction. Organizationally, a mentorship famine creates a constant drought of capacity. No pipeline means hiring panic. Every vacancy becomes an emergency. You keep importing resumes to replace exported wisdom. You are solving today's problems with strangers because you didn't shape tomorrow's leaders as sons and daughters of your culture. Write this down. Where there is no pipeline, there is perpetual firefighting, repeated mistakes, culture drift, and vision diluted by survival tactics. You call it rapid growth. I call it random growth. Growth without successes is bloat. Expansion without development is erosion in slow motion. Now the personal cost. Refuse to mentor and you become the solution forever. Every decision returns to your desk. Every crisis waits on your voice. You are imprisoned by your own success. Golden handcuffs of applause on wrist callous by doing what should have been taught. Your calendar becomes a hostage negotiation. You can't rest because everything rests on you. Write this down. When you won't reproduce, your greatness becomes your jailer. Your body is in the office. Your future is in solitary confinement. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Stop tolerating the prison of being indispensable. Let's go deeper. Identity and design. Gifts were given for service. Service includes succession. If your gift dazzles crowds but doesn't develop carriers, it has become entertainment. Fireworks impress. Engines move destiny. Charisma is a spark. Mentorship is the spark plug. Say it with me. My gift is not a show. It is a school. I come again. My gift must produce graduates. Seed language now. A seed proves itself by becoming a forest. One tree is not dominion. Multiplication is dominion. Write this down. An orchard is evidence that a seed refused to live alone. Even Jesus taught that unless a seed falls and dies to itself, it remains alone. To hoard your methods, your mindset, your mission in your chest is to keep the seed in a jar, clean, safe, useless. Mentorship is sowing your seed into people until a forest appears where your name never stood. But your values breathe in the shade. Wake up call. Write this down. Your ceiling becomes their prison if you don't teach them beyond you. If you cap what you transfer at your comfort, you cap their future at your fear. This is bigger than your company. A mentorship famine doesn't just stall enterprises. It starves a generation of leaders that were supposed to rise. Say it with me. I break the famine. I sow my seed. I refuse to let my gift die with me. Now we build it. Write this down. Pipeline equals proximity, responsibility, review, reinforcement, association, assignment, accountability, affirmation. This is not theory. This is calendar, cadence, and consequences. If it isn't scheduled, it isn't a strategy. If it isn't measured, it isn't mentorship. Step one, association. Choose proximity on purpose. Mentorship requires access to your thinking, not just your platform. Bring your emerging leaders into your meetings. Let them sit in the room when tension is high and decisions are live. Let them hear your questions before they hear your conclusions. Be with me before I send you. Exposure precedes excellence. Give them the minutes, the memos, the models. Let them shadow the call. Read the brief. Observe the negotiation. And then tell you what they saw. Write this down. Association creates absorption. If they never enter your headspace, they will never carry your heart. Step two, assignment. Give real responsibility with risk. You cannot develop leaders with pretend problems. Stop letting them help a meeting. Make them lead a meeting. Give them a budget line with targets. Put their name on the deliverable. Define decision rights. What they can decide, what they can recommend, what requires your veto. Pair authority with weight so wisdom has a gym. Write this down. Responsibility creates readiness. If nothing can go wrong, nothing can grow strong. Announce outcomes and guardrails, then get out of the way and let them sweat with honor. Step 3, accountability. Review decisions, not just outcomes. Outcome can lie. Thinking reveals truth. Ask, what did you see? What did you assume? What did you decide and why? Which value governed your choice? What were the second order consequences? Score the judgment, not just the result. Do post-action reviews within 48 hours while memory is warm. Correct philosophy, not personalities. Mentorship is a cockpit, not a courtroom coach. During flight, debrief after landing. Write this down. Guided reflection turns experience into wisdom. Standardize a leadership journal. Make every mentee document lessons, failures, principles, context, choice, value applied, outcome, improvement. No entry, no advancement. We do not repeat tuition for the same course. Before our sessions, they submit their top 2 entries. We read, we refine, we extract doctrine. Say it with me. My experience becomes our curriculum. Step 4, affirmation. Call out identity and gifting. Trapped in every follower is a hidden leader. Your job is to expose it. Affirmation is not flattery. It is identity declared with evidence and expectation. You saw the pattern. You chose integrity over speed. That's leadership. Next time, increase your radius of consultation. Celebrate judgment, not merely wins. Write this down. Affirmation cements courage. Courage sustains responsibility. Operationalize the rhythm. Every week, 1 group lab and 1 rotational one-on-one. Group lab, 60-90 minutes. Review 2 live decisions from the team. Teach 1 core value. Assign 1 field experiment. Rotational, one-on-one. 30 minutes focus on their journal and 1 upcoming decision. Rotate them through domains, finance, operations, people, so their judgment gains altitude. Put it on the calendar. Non-negotiable. Systems don't run on vibes. They run on rhythms. Close with a measurable. Dependency must decrease monthly. Track approvals requested. Cycle time to resolve issues, and percentage of problems solved without escalation. Write this down. If my necessity isn't decreasing, my mentoring isn't working. Say it with me. Every month, less of me, more of them. Again, every month, less of me, more of them. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Build the pipeline and watch your leadership multiply beyond your presence, your lifetime, your name. Write this down. Graduation is the goal. If they still need you, you didn't need them. Mentorship succeeds when your voice becomes their value system and your presence becomes optional. The real ceremony is not a certificate. It's your calendar becoming free because their competence has been formed. Release is not abandonment. It is acknowledgement that the seed has become a tree. Say it with me. I train for release, not for reliance. Now redefine your scorecard. Success is not how many people depend on you. It's how many leaders can reproduce without you. If the organization only functions at your touch, you built a shrine. If it multiplies in your absence, you built a system. Write this down. Your greatest proof is when they surpass you. If they run faster, cheer. If they see farther, celebrate. If they refine the model, bless it. Insecure leaders hoard the light. Secure leaders multiply the lamps. Who's the leader when release is real? No one. And everyone. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your job may reward your performance. Your work is to produce people who carry purpose forward. Employment compensates your activity. Deployment validates your assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And your assignment is to make generational transfer normal, measurable, and unstoppable. Write this down. If my work doesn't outlive my job, I failed at life while winning at payroll. So here is the covenant. Identify 1 to 3 leaders you will mentor for the next 90 days. Not someday today. Put their names on paper. Schedule access. Promise association. Bring them into your world, not just your meetings. Promise assignments. Give them decisions with weight and guardrails. Promise weekly review. 30 minutes with their journal. One live decision upcoming. One principle reinforced. At day 30, expand their radius. At day 60, increase their decision rights. At day 90, release them to lead a domain without you in the room and publicly affirm their authority. Write this down. Release is a ceremony of trust, authorization, affirmation, and accountability. Here is your posture when they soar. Stop competing with your own harvest. Stop editing their greatness down to your comfort. Give them keys, not permission slips. Tell them, apply the principles, adapt the methods, protect the values, pursue the vision. If they innovate within the values, you just witness legacy. If they exceed your metrics, you just measured success. The ceiling that was over you becomes the floor under them. That is leadership architecture. Say it with me. My ceiling will not be their prison. I commission you now. Stand up in your spirit and decide. Name your three. Calendar your rhythm. Announce the covenant to them. Put the metrics on the wall. Dependency down. Reproduction up. Say it loud. I will not die with my gift. The world needs what I carry and who I will develop. Again, louder. I will not die with my gift. The world needs what I carry and who I will develop. You were created to lead and designed to dominate, not by possession, but by distribution through people who can go where you cannot and become what you could only begin. Write this down. Leadership is not a spotlight. Leadership is a seed. Sow it now and watch forests rise with your values breathing in their shade.